Hello everyone, welcome to Noble Creative Tutorials, and today I will show you how to create a golden particle titles intro in Adobe After Effects using Stardust. So create your composition and let's get started. So after create composition, and as you see here in my comp, I have a text layer and Stardust applied to these layers. So on emitter type, we're going for text and mask, and then we're going to assign this text layer, and let's just turn visibility for the text. So now you can see particles emitting from the text, and on emitter we're going to zero out speed and get more particles right here. So now you can see more of these particles around the text, and we want to zero out the size Z as well. So right here we have this set to volume. We're going to edge, and you can see what's going on there. So the particles are a little bit bigger, so just going to make that just 1 and then have 3 seconds and random life as well. So right here, just going for 15 and choose a nice color here. And so that's what we get right now. So on emitter, we have here these path properties. So I'm going to trim these around 30 and offset that around 50. So we can get something like that, as you can see here. You can offset as you want and trim it as you want as well. So on particles here, you can see we want this starting to start really smoothly there. So I'm going for size over life and just going for these maybe fade out, and then just flip these and just make it starting around just around a second or so small, and then getting bigger into place, as you can see. So now I'm going to do here just Control D to duplicate these nodes here. And for the second one, emitter here, we're just going to crank up these around 7,000. And basically we don't want any offset here or trim, so just going to zero out that. And for the particles, we're just going to get more opacity here, so probably around 25. Just duplicate these, Control D here, and you can see we're just overlapping things. That's fine for now. And right here we just want 5,000, and so the particles, just changing here the color to something that yellow here, and basically 50% opacity, and then just going to duplicate the particle this time. So basically everything is overlapping here. So now to make things make sense, I'm just going to add turbulence here and just go for 300 on position offset, 120, and then just maybe around 50. So we can see we just creating some turbulence for these particles, and on noise scale maybe 290 and just 50 on amplitude, and basically here maybe just 9. So you can see what's going on here. Basically we're affixing these, and here we have random, so I'm just going for 60 right there. You can see what's going on now. Basically we don't want that to be just like this, so I'm just going to connect these particles or this turbulence to these nodes here, and we have this one, so I'm just going to connect it to the first emitter, so you can see we got things into place. And now for the second one, I'm just going to connect these particles to all emitters here. So now basically you can see what's happened. So if we just think still overlapping on some, but we got some more opacity on those other emitters. And for this particle, just going to connect that to the first one as well. But we don't want that to be connected with these. So right here we just have something like these. But as you can see here, we still need to do something about the turbulence. So right here we have turbulence over life, and let's go to presets and then just choose fade out here And so we are going to give some really nice, cool look in here. So basically, you can keep it like that or just flip it. So we're just going to flip how the animations start and how the turbulence are going to affect these. So for now, basically, I'm going for axis and I want that on the Y. So just going to have different looks, so depend on what you really want there. So let's preview and see how this looks like. So as you can see guys, the title animation look pretty cool. So now we can just do a few adjustments and then add more details to this. So for example here, we can actually go to this emitter here and we have size Z. We can just add more depth right there. Let's put these to 4 res so you can see what's going on. So I'm just going for 50 as you can see here. And then I'm going to add here these clone nodes. So basically, we're just going to connect what I want to clone here. So the whole idea here, basically, the clone, instead of just duplicating this whole branch of nodes here, you can just clone it using this clone node. Basically, nothing happened here, but if we just add transform node and then connect it to the clone here, you can see now it is on top of these whole title here. So that's pretty cool. And basically we got these clone properties here. We have delay and shift seeds. So basically when we just delay these, nothing happened. But if we flip these turbulence over live and then just offset these, you can see now we got the second branch of these clone here just happen after 1 second and a half. So you can see what's going on with these, which is very powerful if you want to go for these locks. So I'm just going to keep it as it is here, just zero out these, and basically just want to have that on top of everything, just second duplicate. And so now I'm going to add another clone node here, just do the same thing, connect that right here. But this time actually I'm going to add a fill node here and then just connect that to the clone. So now we want just to affect these clone here and we want to use box here and filled properties and we want to make these actually bigger here. So we just want to create particles around these whole text or whole title here. So you can see basically nothing fancy here going on, but we got randomize here. We can just crank up that to 100 and you can see we got these particles around the text. So on FX properties, we can go around 600 to offset more or affect more the position. And we can also affect the size if we want to make these particles bigger, as you can see, which is pretty cool. But I'm just going to set these around 80 and also colors here to make it a little bit white. So we can just change to any color here and basically change here. These color will just affect that. So I'm just going to keep these as white and just 50. So now we got some really nice look here. And so the next idea here, now we just want to create some trail for this. So what I'm going to do here, just duplicate these first nodes here. And let's just put these right here. And I'm just going to disable these emitters here. So we just focus on what's going on with these duplicate here. So now I'm just going to zero out these trim. We don't need that. And basically, we just go for this particle here. Live just 2 seconds. We just zero out live random and particle. We just want these to be 0.2 and basically here we have particles to 100. So now let's just duplicate these particle here and just connect it to the same emitter here. And so this time we want that to be 1. Basically nothing much happened there. So the idea here now is just adding first node here and just connect these to the particles here. And so we have here wind, so we want that to be minus 500. We want that to be moving toward the camera, and on emitter we want to have a speed for this particle to be moving as well. So let's just put random speed to 50%. So basically let's just put these to half right there. So you can see we just moving these particles there, and basically that's what we want. So I'm just going to add replica node here and just connect that to this one here. We want basically the force to be connected to these two particles there, and replica here we just want to add more replicate, so around 200, and density to 90, and just offset that by 1 on the Z. So basically we're just going to have some nice trail there, but because we have a lot of particles, we don't want that to be very dense, so we're just going for 50. We just want few around there so you can see what's going on there. So basically on replica here, you can go to a long path, and we got the size here. So we just want a nice look here. So we just make the size smaller there. So basically right here on particles, we can change color or keep the color. So basically the head for these trail, for now it just look really small, but later on when we add the camera and the animation, it's just going to look right. So for now, we're just going to keep these as it is here, and just with everything else, basically these trails are emitting from the same text. So now with everything right there, emitting from the text there, which is pretty cool, while we're adding the camera animation, this will look really nice. So for now, we're just going to create particle floor for this to add more details to the scene. So let's just duplicate these layer here. Let's solo these and select all these, and then just delete that and just create a new Stardust here. And so basically now we're just going to grid, and we need to zero out speed. Let's first get more life to the particles here. So depending on how long is your comp, you can just add, if you have 20, just put 20 and so on. So I'm just going to put 10 and 50% on random these, and on particles, let's for now just 5, randomize these opacity and size. And on emitter, we need to make these really big, so you can have big one here, zero out that, and more particles on X and Y, and just 2 on the X. So that's basically what we get right there. Let's just create a new camera here, 24mm there, and hit OK. So let's just zoom out these so you can see how big is this grid right there. So basically now, let's just add transform here, and we want to rotate that on the Z or X, actually 90, and on the Y position just offset that by 800. So we got something like that, and we want to add some really nice animation to this. So I'm going to add here a fill node and just connect that to the particle, and right here I have this map basically. So right here, just very straightforward fractal map using animation on the evolution here, just so we can have a nice animation here. So let's just add these to our comp here. Let's turn off visibility for this, and on fill, we're just going to assign these on maps here. Make sure we choose type layer and then assign these map, and we want to go for position first and X and Y, and we want to affect the Z. So right now we have effects properties. We can affect that by 300. So we got some really nice animation now going on right there, as you can see, which is pretty cool. So let's first get some nice color here. random from gradient, and let's just go for some yellow color here. Well, something like that, as you can see here. And so I'm going to duplicate the field here and just connect that. And this time we are going for actually opacity here in just 8% to affect that opacity. So just have some nice looking floor there. And basically with both now, you can see what's going on. So now we have the text very far. So what we're going to do here is create a new null object. Let's rename this 01. Let's just put it right here. So let's rename these floor and just put that right there. We don't need it now. So right now we can just add transform on this text here and then assign here these null. So right here in this null, we need to make sure it's 3D. So now we can just adjust the whole particle layer using this null, which is really nice. So we can just position that where we want, as you can see here. So going for minus 8,000. So it's pretty close. And you can see now the trails basically, because now we have the camera, you can see the head is really small. So on this particle here, we're just going for ignore perspective. And as you can see, we got these trails looks right now. So let's preview and see how this looks like. So as you can see, guys, these look pretty cool. And so now I'm going to show you how you can add more titles very easily. So let's do that. So first here, let's trim these around 4 seconds. We're just going to trim these 3 layers and Control D to duplicate that. So we're just going to move these around there, more duplicate, so we can go as much as you want. So I'm just going to duplicate it 3 times. So now each title going to got different nulls and different Stardust layer. So first let's change here the text so we can see what's going on here. So I'm just going to write it. So basically texts are changed right there. So now basically we got the same text because right here in Stardust layer we need to change here on emitters the layers of these text. So we need to go text 2 for each emitter here to change that. And you need to do the same thing for transform here to assign each null to the layer or Stardust layer if needed here. For example, this one need to assign null to. And as you can see now, we got 3 separate titles here, and it's going to be easy now to position each title on the space using the nulls. So now we can actually start animating the camera here very easily, just getting 2 views, one on top so we can see the whole floor and just animating the camera vertically there so we can see each title where it's positioning there, and we can use the null object to just space between each null position on the Z1000 between or so around that, so the values can change depending on how far you want to be between each title, and you can just adjust in and out points of the titles. So that's going to be easier for us to animate. So if you have more titles, you can just adjust in depending on the camera speed and the positioning of each title. So let's preview and see how this looks like. So as you can see, guys, this looks pretty cool, and of course you can add more titles just by duplicating these layers. And now I'm just going to do one adjustment here, and that's going to make the look different. So let's just go for full erase and select Stardust layer and disable the clone here. So you can see now the trimmed outlines visible more. So we are going to turn this back on and then just use the delay here. So I'm going for 2 seconds just so we can have nice variation here. And I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of Stardust layer just to have more variation here, as you can see. And let's pre-compose all these and just rename it main title, just so we can create really nice stylized and look to this. So now I'm going to create a new solid to create a really nice background for this. And just going to add a ramp here and basically going for a dark blue here and a light blue here, something around that probably, and choose radial here, and let's just put these behind everything there, so later we can change color easily. So now I have these bouquet right here, these overlay to add on top just to create some really nice atmosphere here. So putting that on add and probably just going for 20 there. And we got also here these fog here. Basically it's very straightforward using just the fractal noise here. Crank up complexity and animate the size and evolution here. So you can see what we got, very straightforward. So you can just add that at some environment here. So just, you can animate basically opacity here, probably from 10 to 50 here. So we're going to get some really nice look in there. So you can see we got some really nice, maybe you can get less. I'm going for screen on blending mode just to blend these nicely here. And then I'm going to add a new adjustment layer and I'm going to rename these color correction and then add curves here. And basically just going to color grade these nicely so you can just do whatever look you're looking for, and just so we can get some really nice look in here, duplicating that. Let's reset these and go for red and green, a little bit of green there, and blue, just so we can create some nice look here. So let's duplicate these, remove these ones here, and rename these glow, and duplicate one more time, and this is going to be blur, going to need blur later. So here we're going to have glow and just going for 80 and crank up these 100 and crank up these a little bit, so just to get a nice glow there. So it's just up to you how you want to get the look. So probably here 80, and this is 80 or 100 there. So this one is going to be fast box blur, and just go for 1. And basically we'll show you why doing that. So duplicating this one, and this is going to be star glow, and I want that to be before everything else. So here let's remove this blur and then add star glow by Red Giant here. So we got a few different presets to choose from to get some really cool look here. So I'm going for star prism here and choose luminance. So basically the blur here, I just want that to be on top of star glow to get some pretty cool look here. And on blur we can choose here lighten and opacity 50%, and we're going to get a nice soft look right here. And so you can now change different styles, as you can see, of these presets would make it change differently, give it different look. So that's it guys, hope this tutorial was very useful for you as always, and if you have any questions just comment and I will do my best to be responsive, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials coming soon, and thank you for watching.